Welcome to Best Friends in Franchising. I'm Morgan Knoller.
And I'm Catherine Allen.
If you're interested in franchising a new opportunity or diversifying your portfolio, you've come to the right place. We talk money mindset, and everything in between. Let's dive in. Franchising, I'm Morgan Knoller.
And I'm Catherine Allen.
And today we have a very special guest, Catherine. Who do we have on today?
Yes. So today our guest is proof that the best franchise owners don't come from the industry that they enter. Elina Greenstein led global fintech partnerships at Mastercard, negotiated deals with the biggest names in finance, and then she bet on herself. She's now the president of CMIT Solutions in Bergen County, New Jersey. Elina, we are so glad that you're here today. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, ladies.
So, Elina, you spent nearly a decade with MasterCard, leading fintech partnerships at the global scale, and then you made this leap to managing IT and this franchise. Tell us a little bit about how this all came to be.
Yeah. So after my second son was born, I started thinking about time completely differently, right? Specifically the return on it. And because every hour you spend somewhere is an hour that you're not spending somewhere else, it just made me realize that I actually didn't control that trade-off at all, right? I had a great
Yeah.
corporate career. I had great relationships. I worked with wonderful people. I did well financially, but I wasn't in control of how that time translated into the outcomes for my family or my future. So once that clicked, I just couldn't ignore it. It wasn't about leaving. It was more about wanting to own what I was building.
I love that. It's so true. It's so true. And that was for me when my kids were entering elementary school. I was like, how do people do this? Because I was on Zoom calls from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at night. And my kids get out of school at 3:05. And yeah, we put them in aftercare, but even then, like 5 o'clock wasn't even enough. And I wanted to show up for the field trips and volunteering in the classroom and at least have the option to. So I completely agree with you. And I love the way you think about time because my biggest hurdle is time. Like that, if I had all the time in the world, I could scale this thing so much faster, right? Like all of us. So you really need to be intentional about your time, and time is valuable. So, kind of switching gears. So, people hear IT franchise and they think you need to be a tech wizard. You came from business development and sales. Talk to me about that. Talk to Morgan. How did that surprise you or not?
Yeah. So honestly, at first I was like, please don't make me fix your Wi-Fi. That's not me. And as I got closer to the business, I realized two things. So first, it's a massive, growing, non-optional need for businesses. Talk about TAM, like it's an endless TAM in theory, right? And second, the best franchisees weren't technical at all. They were consultative, right? They were having business
Right.
conversations about risk, operations, and growth. And I was just like, that's what I do now. I'm just doing it. I did it in ad tech. I did it in payments, working with a variety of different companies in traditional media and in tech. And I'm an operator having a conversation with operators about business outcomes and solving those needs with technology. This was no different. I spent 2 decades doing this already. It was just a different type of technology. And so that's really where it just all started to make sense to me that the path was clear. I could work on upskilling in the right way of understanding just enough about the tech, implementing a great team that can execute on it, and really being the person that can sort of bridge those two worlds together.
That's so smart. And I think for those listening, can you give us like a quick rundown? Because I feel like people, even as a consultant, I heard CMIT Solutions, and it took me a second to like understand what it actually is that you're going and pitching to these companies. Can you just like quick, like 2 sentence, like this is what CMIT does for you, and this is why it's such a brilliant franchise?
Yeah. So most of our clients are growing businesses, and I think about them in terms of inflection points, not size, right? So they usually fall into two camps. So you have one that has constant friction. Logins don't work, files are everywhere, access is messy, weird emails get through, and everybody's just like, oh, that's just IT. That's just how technology works. So that's like one camp. And then the other camp, everything is fine, but no one really knows who has access to what. That intern that's not here anymore from last summer, do they still have access to like the Petsky file or some really important that we have a backup? Does anybody know if the backup actually works? Did we test it? Security is inconsistent. Oh, we're going after enterprise customers now. And did you know that they insist that we have all of these different security protocols, even to make it to the RFP? And you're running. You ladies are business owners. You understand, like you're running. And this is the thing that just keeps falling to the side. And so what we do is we bring structure, clarity, and to that chaos, and we allow you to scale securely. So we do managed IT, cybersecurity, compliance for growing businesses that want to make sure that every next 5, 10, 50, 100 employees that they add, or every next major enterprise customer that they bring on, that they can bring the same level of diligence and support to those customers, and that their technology is not going to fall apart underneath them when they're able to do it.
I love that. That's a perfect explanation because I feel like that's what you're selling. So what typically, like, what is that? I'm jumping around a little bit here, but what does that price look like for these companies when you're coming in and saying that we can do this for you? You can scale, you can grow, you just pay CMIT franchisees X amount. Like, what is that scale?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first thing that we do is we do an assessment of your business objectives, what your business requires. So if there's certain levels of compliance within your business, SOC 2 or HIPAA or FTC or other things like that, and types of data you touch versus is your business a little bit more insulated from necessarily touching that type of data? What does your workflow look like, right? And then from there, work with you to meet you where you are, to sort of put together a program of, listen, baseline based on the way that you guys are a distributed team that's all remote, or you're all in the same office every day, or some mix in between, putting together a program of solutions together. And that becomes a cost per user per month. Like, it's a pretty common format. And so that really scales, right? Because I think a lot of small companies too think like, oh, well, I can't afford it. It's like, well, everybody can, right? It scales with the size of your company. And then it just becomes a matter of having that plus access to a virtual CISO, right? Projects, disaster recovery, future solutions. Like, the whole point is you start with the baseline program that you need to meet you where you are. And then you have us to continue to grow with you to where you want to be, right? You're now connected to us. You're part of our organization, and we can help you be a voice on the phone when you have questions, just like that trusted attorney or that trusted accountant. We can be your trusted CIO, as well as help implement things, future projects, future sets of tools and things like that. So that's sort of how it works.
That's great. I
I
love
love it.
on like the small businesses because I think just as a small business owner, that's what I think. I can't afford any of these things. I can't do that.
Right.
So the truth is, you can. Sounds like.
And the thing is like, what you really can't afford is the risk of not having it. And I don't even mean like fear-based, like you're going to get hacked. Like, that's not exactly what I mean. What I mean is the risk of not having a reliable structure that if you spilled coffee on your laptop right now, what does that mean? Are you like,
Means
I have to buy a new laptop? Or are you like,
yeah.
my business is in deep trouble because did my backup work? Wait, it was synced. Wait, is sync the same as backup? Like, every business needs a level of confidence that
Right.
no matter what happens, that there's fail safes, that you've done everything you can to protect yourself from both bad actors as well as just things that happen in everyday business, right? So
Smart.
that's what we
Like it. So what is a typical, today's Thursday, what does a typical day in the life of Elina look like?
Lord.
I mean, on an
Lord.
average day. I mean,
Ladies,
like,
how much time
where
do
are
we
you
have?
spending your time?
You promised me cocktails for this one. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. That was only if it was a 2 a.m. podcast. Come on.
From a professional standpoint, it's a mix of business development, client conversations, both with prospects and networking, as well as with existing customers. So managing all those different priorities.
Yep.
It's also building and enhancing the system behind it. So we build in actual like technology and tools and systems that's monitoring everything. And we're working on continuing to upgrade that. So there's more efficiency that's built into the way that we proactively monitor everybody's environments and the way that we make sure that we're that everybody's systems are working correctly, and then communicating that. So there's work
Okay.
done on that. And
Yep.
then the rest of it is exactly what you all know, which is, okay, so kids have to get up 3:08, they have to be picked up. So one has soccer practice at 4 in this place, and then the other one's 4:15. And it's 7 minutes away. So I have 15 minutes to drop them off and get there. And then I need to go get the other one and this, and then they have baseball, and I'm coaching baseball. Shit. Okay, I have to bring the clothes, and the clothes have to be in the car, and you have to change in the car. Don't complain. Make sure you go to the potty.
Wait. You forgot the most important part. Where's snacks?
That's
Snacks.
But snacks, two boys. My God, snacks only get you so far, and then they just become like feral animals. They're like, oh, carbohydrates, protein. It's so easy.
Yep.
Mac becomes my
That's
friend.
very relatable to us and probably relatable to a lot of people listening.
Yeah. 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 We're like going from swim team practice, like school, get him straight to swim team. We're changing. I'll have snacks in the car. And then we got to quickly turn around and get Jackson to his baseball practice. Yeah. I hear you.
And then it's all the emotional regulation in between. Forget homework.
Yeah. It's the hardest part.
That's
I,
for 7:45 in the morning.
yeah. Yeah.
Now, for like the typical franchisee that you're having coming in, they don't typically have an IT background, or they do? Because I'm listening to you talk and it's like RFPs, CIO, TAM. I'm like, oh boy, I'm writing some of these down. Like, I think I know all of them, but if not coming from IT. And I love technology, but it has to be extremely user friendly for
Yeah.
me. And then I'm in. But if it gets too technical, I get a little shied away from it. So what are these franchisees look like that are coming in and becoming part of CMIT Solutions?
I think it's a bit of a mix. And I'll admit, while I don't have an IT background, a lot of the structure of what makes this business successful and makes a franchisee successful here is actually something I'm very familiar with. So the concept of doing quarterly business reviews. I remember like they kept saying QBR, and I'm like, yeah, QBR. And I'm like, what is that? Right? What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's what you do when you review how your business is doing with the customer. What are you talking about?
Yes.
The idea of having like specific stakeholders that are in charge of different functional business units, right? How they work together, understanding how the founder, owner, CEO works with the CTO, works with the CIO, works with the CFO, works with the CRO. Like that, in essence, is something that I've done in previous roles my entire career, right? Maybe I wasn't the person like making friends with the CIO necessarily every time, but the functional idea of how all those roles work together and how everything below it functions together, that is something that I've done in the past. And so then it's really just having a good understanding of relationships ultimately are where trust is built. And
Yeah.
successful B2B tech sales happens with trusting people you know, like, and trust, right? So the successful franchisees are the ones that ultimately can emulate that. And I think and then it's recognizing where your strengths are and complementing them appropriately, right? So if you know that you're a bit more technical, but you could still be a personable person. So working on upskilling, stepping out of your comfort zone in terms of like intentionally networking and putting yourself out there where you might be uncomfortable. Or for someone like me, I have no problem, no shame being out there and being uncomfortable, but maybe recognizing that I needed to upskill a little bit on the technical side and making sure I have the right team to lean on. So I know that's a long-winded way of saying, it can be both, but I think ultimately you need to be likable. You need to be somebody that can be trustworthy. You need to be accountable. So you can be trustworthy, but you have to actually execute on that. And then just be
Yes.
self-aware of where you are lacking, and fill that with great people that can really bring, the rest of that full circle for you.
Thank you for that, because I do feel like when you hear B2B, you're like, oh, business to business, you don't really need to be personable, but it's almost the opposite. You have to be almost more
Yes.
personable because they're buying into you as much as they are the company.
That's right. It's the opposite of a transactional sale. I mean, think about it. Every time that someone's
Yeah.
working with me and signing on to do managed services, like they're basically trusting all of their technology in my hands, right? It's like we're getting
Yeah.
paid every time. And so,
Yes.
I
And
need
that's a
to do it
huge
right.
deal. I mean, cybersecurity, like those, I mean, you really got to trust the person you're working with. What would you say, Alina, is the hardest part of being a business owner that no one told you or that you didn't expect?
What is the hardest part?
Like what has been one of
Yeah.
the hardest things?
I think the hardest part is making sure you don't burn yourself out.
Yeah.
And for very ambitious, driven people, I'm
Yeah.
speaking to a mirror here, I know.
Yeah.
It's like having the ability to take a minute and say, am I taking on too much? I mean,
Yeah.
ladies, we are business owners, we are CEOs of our homes, we have
Yeah.
little humans that like rely on us, spouses that rely on us too.
Yes.
Someone has to do the laundry, all of these things. We're like, no, we got it, we got it, we got it. And I think that's been the hardest thing, is that what I find empowering about being a business owner is the fact that everything can be done on my time. And I think I'm pretty good about prioritizing what has to happen.
Right.
And then because of that, I'm like, I have another hour. It's 10 p.m., but I still have energy. I can go do something right now, instead of saying, take a minute and
Yeah.
just go to bed.
Yeah. Well, because I feel like in my old corporate job, like my brain could turn off at whatever time I was done working, 5:36. When you're a business owner, your brain never turns off. And
Nope.
you're always like, I know, which is a blessing and a curse. Like, I know if I put in that extra hour at 10 p.m., that could result in a new client
100%.
account that could be X amount of revenue. And so, yeah, that's the the blessing and the curse of, you know
Throttling your own ambition for the sake of like your mental and physical health.
yeah.
I mean, if you, if anyone has any advice for me, I'll take it. But that's definitely been the biggest thing that I'm working on.
I did burn myself out, and so I effectively started seeing a functional medicine doctor who I will be seeing today at 1 o'clock. Still see him. So highly recommend that, Alina, if you get to that place, just making sure I'm good now. But yeah, I did effectively burn myself out about 6, 7, 8, 9 months in. So, but now I'm good. Now I'm good. But starting a business is a lot and it's the most rewarding thing and I love it and I wouldn't change it. But yeah, I think people just need to understand, just like if you're trying to climb the corporate ladder or build anything, like it's challenging, but it's challenging in a good way.
Hmm.
Yes. We like to say life work balance, right? Not work life balance, because we've said work life balance for a long time. So we're trying to mentally switch a little bit, life first and then work as a priority. And I think it's working. So curious though, because I did before buying Soccer Stars as my franchise, I vetted about 7 different companies and I really got in deep with all of them. Truly, I think I did validation calls with a lot of them. And I was really like, I don't know what's right for me. And then finally, it just felt great to be a part of a team that was always smiling on the calls and happy on the calls. And it seemed like the issues with management or sales or whatever wasn't going right, they were very minimal day-to-day things that I felt like they were all overcoming them. They weren't actually detrimental to the business itself. What other franchise opportunities, or if any, did you look at before deciding CMIT solutions? That's where I'm going.
So we looked at a bunch. I actually wasn't married to the idea of necessarily taking my previous skill sets and directly applying it. I was just like, I'll do HVAC. I'll do commercial window cleaning, whatever. Like I didn't have a big ego about what the end product was. I just wanted like this path to owning my time. Right.
Mhm.
And actually, there was a commercial window cleaning business, which is phenomenal, that I seriously considered. And on paper, it was great because I decided I wanted a few things. I wanted B2B, I wanted
Yep.
recurring revenue and strong margins. And I remember thinking, worst case scenario, I mean, it's literally dawn and a bucket of water and a squeegee. I will roll my sleeves up. You are complaining about being in the office. Here I am. Like I can always do it, right? That gave me confidence, right? That I can always do
Yeah.
the scenario. And so as you ladies know, you go through validation, right? And then when I started doing validation, I asked this one killer question, which I've heard you guys mention before too. It was like, you really need to ask, what is the problem you deal with every single day that nobody tells you up front, right?
You did say that when we spoke. I love that question. I love that question.
And in this business, the biggest one is staffing, hiring, training, people not showing up, constant turnover. And at the moment I realized this is not a window cleaning job. It's a staffing job. And there are people that are crushing this business and doing a phenomenal job at it. I realized that that was not the problem I wanted to solve every day. And I think that was so important to be able to reflect on that, to think of the business not as what is the output, but what are you solving every day? So that unlock was for me was I need to pick a business where I wake up and I get to solve problems every day. And so when we came upon CMIT, I was like, these problems are different. It's strategy, it's relationships, it's helping businesses create structure where things have
Yeah.
gotten messy. I'm like, I love structure. I mean, I'm a OCD Jewish mom. Like everything in its place, risk averse. Like it's literally what I am as a human being, So I don't need chaos. I need you boys to just listen to me. So it really worked both with like my personality as well as my
Yeah.
experience and what it kind of just, all came together.
That's a great answer.
And you worked with Jack, right?
Jack is phenomenal. I mean,
So
honestly, like, I don't know what I would have done without having his guidance throughout this entire process.
yeah, I mean, and so talk to us a little bit about working with a franchise consultant and like how that helped guide your decision versus if you had not had him. How might that have would that have do you think what would that have changed? Do you think it would have changed anything?
I probably would not be sitting here talking to you today,
Yeah.
honestly. I'd probably still be in the same place that I was, wondering if there's a way that I can be in control of my time. I came from a consultative sale. So the thing that I think is important in a consultative sale is that you need to be a person that can be a Sherpa, be a guide, no one to direct,
Yeah.
no one to teach, no one to just stop talking, and know when to push hard. And that's really what Jack was able to do. So he was able to see what I wasn't able to see about both myself and my career and what my potential could be, but also then be able to apply it in a practical way that I wasn't able to. I'm in IT. Like I never thought, again, like that wasn't the first thing on my mind, right?
Yeah.
But he did this great skills assessment, the type of culture I want to build, what my energy looks like, what my path to success look like, and was able to just give me a variety of different options, and then also appropriately pushed me to keep an open mind.
Yeah.
It was just like there for the entire process, leading with like a mentor rather than someone that's clearly just looking, for a transaction. Think of it just like a real estate agent. There are some real estate agents that just check a box, and then there's that phenomenal one that you will refer over and over and over again because they were genuinely looking to find you the home for you. And that really was the feeling that I had working with Jack.
I
And of
love
course,
that.
we are talking about Jack Johnson, the franchise insiders, and Catherine and I are now on his team, but he also helped the two of us find soccer
Yeah.
stars because Catherine had a background with Jack, which was very convenient. But that is the team that we're referring to in Jack Johnson.
Yeah. And I mean, gosh, I love that you hit on like open mindedness because I do think sometimes I do talk to clients and they're like, well, I'm in IT. Like they actually are in IT and that's what they know. That's what they're comfortable with. And they can't, it's hard for them to understand jumping from that to like a window cleaning business or something they know nothing about. And so I think, if you talk to most franchisors, what most 99.9 of them will say is our franchisees don't have any experience in whatever the business is. Like they're just looking for someone and that's where it is important to think through like the energy piece, like you talked about, the lifestyle. You have two young boys. That's the match we're trying to help make is like, what are your goals? What are your interests? What is your lifestyle? And then like match around that. And I do think like if you have a sales background like you do, that is always sales is good. Sales is good. Rock
I
on.
mean, that's the beauty of the franchise world is that you don't have to have the background, the playbook's there. You just have to pick the one that fits you the best and just go. And I love that you said, like, where would you be if you didn't talk to Jack Johnson or didn't take this leap? And you'd be doing probably the same thing you were doing before. And I think that's really important for listeners to understand is you need to just take the jump because if you don't, you'll
Yeah.
spend 2 more years looking at franchises and be like, oh my gosh, in 2 years, I could have been growing my business and I'm still stuck in the same job answering someone else's calls. And it could have been me
Yeah.
working on the business by now because the first year we know you're in it, you're learning all the roles. So 2 years can be a life changing amount of time where now you're working on growing your business and scaling it up. And so not taking that leap, I think, is the biggest mistake I see with people I talk to. And they're just still doing the same thing that they were doing when we first had our conversation.
Yeah. And I think it's such a mindset thing. And you talked about being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Like that is something I had to learn and lean into. Like if this feels uncomfortable, that's what I need to do because that's going to really propel my growth. But also not thinking, what's the worst case scenario here? Like what's the worst thing that could happen? It's what's the best thing that could happen? Like the best thing that happens is I'm
Right.
a multi-unit franchise owner and I'm surpassing every goal every year that I ever set for myself. Like, that's
Uh-huh.
amazing. And I have an incredible team of 30 coaches who I've changed their lives for the better. I've changed over, I don't know, 8,000 kids, like, impacted them and their families. Like, it's like never saw that coming, but you just kind of have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
So Alina, what is your proudest moment to date as a franchise owner, would you say?
Well, actually, there's something, Catherine, that you posted similar, that was similar recently, that really resonated with me, but it's been how my kids see me now. So in my
Oh,
corporate career, I did meaningful work and it was invisible, right? At least to,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And now they see everything. They see the ownership, the accountability. They see the fact that something works and they see that it works because we made it happen, you know? And I can just tell that they're so proud, like genuinely proud. My oldest is gotten super into it and he's literally creating commercials for me. So I post some of them on social media
I've seen those. Those are so cute.
and he's just like, ring, what's up? CMIT has coded. And I'm like, well, I would never. Like, what? And he makes me literally takes my business card and slaps it on. He's like, put your trust in us with tech. Like, I don't even know how he comes up with these things, you know? And honestly, it's everything. It's like, it's exactly like life work balance. I did this, yes, for myself and for my family, but also for my children, right? Not only to have
Yeah.
more of the time I want with them, but also for them to see that you can do something on your own and build an asset for your family, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that they want to be involved, I mean, this kid's going to go to Micro Center and we're going to teach him how to troubleshoot computers. Catherine, we're going to have him call you shortly. We're going to figure out
Okay.
on a Chrome extension, all right?
Yes, with my Chrome extension, I need help, clearly. Samantha, my daughter, was homesick and she listened in on a call and I hang up and she goes, Mommy, I really like that call. That was really interesting. And I said, Oh, yeah? She's like, Well, one day you're going to die and I'm going to need to take over the business. And so, like, literally, she said this and she's like, So it's good that I'm learning. She's 7, but I was like, Wow, it
No,
was.
that's pride. That's their definition of pride in you.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, the example we're setting for our kids that you can do something for yourself and, business ownership. I mean, that's really wherein the like opportunity lies, like higher risk, higher reward. But yeah, I love that all three of us are given mom boss vibes
That's
and we can bring our kids in. There's tax advantages there, like for the kids, like my kids get a salary that goes into their college fund. Just throwing that out there. Like,
a great
if
opportunity.
your son's doing commercials, Alina,
There you
he's
go.
earning himself a salary that could
I
go to.
know. He just needs to figure out how to send me an invoice.
Yeah,
I
So
do
far, I'm
have
paying him in hugs and kisses and mac and cheese. I don't know. Maybe I need to.
say though, just like people finding the right franchise, one of my children listened in and was like, I would never do it here. And then the other child was like, I can't wait to take over one day. So I thought that was really interesting that they both looked at it through different lenses. So maybe it's a different franchise for my son than it is for my daughter. So,
but these are life lessons they're learning now, and he's only 9.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And the truth is like, I never thought that I could be an entrepreneur. I was like, that's too risky for me. I'm a Jewish mother. Like, I'm so low risk, you know? Anxiety is what like fuels me in addition to coffee. And the thing that I never really understood until I got into this is that franchising is potentially that path for some people, just like me. We have ambition. We have some funds that we've set aside from working for a little while. We have the desire to control things in a way that we've learned. Like, I don't think I started this late. I think I started this ready. My 2 decades of work experience, I think prepared me for this, right? Like, so
Yeah.
and it's not, and also like, I know so many people back in like my corporate and tech life. I don't have a business that I wrote on a bar napkin that I'm like, this is it. I'm going to build this. This is great. I had
Yeah.
ambition and drive and I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something. And that is this unlock that franchising allows you to do, because it just gives you, it's like, if you're a good operator and you have ambition and you know how to follow instructions, like, you're going to shine, you're going to be successful, right?
Yeah, 100%. Morgan, what was that stat we just heard at the Victory Lap Summit last week where franchise owners earn 1.5% more or times?
1.4% times, 1.4% more likely to earn a higher salary if you're a franchise owner than just a business owner without the franchise backing you. So that was
Yeah.
incredible. Makes sense. So, okay. So what was like maybe one mistake that you would warn people about in the first year of owning a franchise?
Don't get everything perfect. I mean, done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
Move fast,
Just
test,
move.
learn, adjust, fail, be humble, fail again, be humble
Yeah.
again.
Just don't stop. Just keep going.
Just
I
keep
love that.
swimming. Like, it really, I mean, The great thing is, it's like everyone says entrepreneurship is lonely. Like it is, but not as much, honestly, I think, when you are a franchisee, because the network is really fantastic. But you just have to like lower your guard a little bit and say, it's not a measure of what I am capable of. It's just like what we say to our kids, right? Like, they play
Yeah.
soccer. How many times do they miss that goal? Does that mean they're a bad soccer player? No, it means they learned, don't do it that way next time.
Yeah.
They just learned it faster.
I say it to my son all the time. I'm like, he's like, I didn't know that. And I said, you're not supposed to know everything. Not yet. I was like, that's why you go to school and learn. It's like, that's why you're part of the franchise, world. They're going to
Absolutely.
teach you all those things. That's what's so brilliant about it. You don't have to know how to wear all those hats. They'll tell you how to do it.
So Morgan and I talk a lot about franchising as a path out of corporate burnout. Does that resonate with your story at all?
Absolutely. So, to balance what I said before about making sure I don't burn myself out here, I think
Yeah.
maybe what I would say to that is the path out of the dead end that you feel when you get to a
Yeah.
certain point. At some point, you're a cog in a wheel. And
Yeah.
there's nothing like, I just want to be clear, like, there are amazing careers that can be built and are built in corporate or in other similar structures. You need to be willing to mold yourself to fit what the company needs, because the company comes first.
Right.
And that, for a lot of people, might feel like burnout. Like, burnout is not not always I'm doing too many things and I can't keep up. Burnout can also
Right.
be, this doesn't fit me and it doesn't fit what I'm looking for, right? And so that's really what I see this path as, is like, I can make the choice of what that looks like. And I can
Right.
also run myself into the ground and tell myself, should I keep working? And no, that's my choice. But the truth is like, the business becomes you and what you want it to be versus you becoming the business. And that's really
Right.
what people need to choose for themselves.
And I love that. And you're right. Burnout might not be the right word, but like it is, for me, I'm working so hard to get to that next level, which I just couldn't seem to get to because they're hiring people outside of my company to come in at the man, above me versus I'm trying to get to that next thing. But it was like they were bringing people from the outside, or I'm working really hard and hitting my goals, but I get a 50% bonus because the company didn't hit its goals, or we're not going to do raises this year, even if it's 3% adjustment. And so much more, I feel like, is out of your control when you're working for someone else. But there is stability and security to an extent in that. But then there's also, I mean, right now, you look at all the layoffs that are happening in the Bay Area and around the country with AI, obviously. And, that's also out of your control versus like, I am very grateful that I own my own business, being like someone who came from marketing. Like, marketing was an easy thing to cut with Canva, with AI. I mean, it's like, you can do so much with it. I mean, you don't need the extensive, deep benches in marketing, like from a marketing team. It's just all these companies are restructuring in a more lean format. I'm getting off on a tangent, but what I'm trying to say is just
You're
grateful.
absolutely, no, you're absolutely right. And
Hashtag grateful.
yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, look, like, obviously anything can always happen with our business, and something can change tomorrow where our business has changed too.
Right.
Like, that's always the case. But I think, to the point that you're making, is that it's like, we had this story that we told ourselves, and we were told, you go to the school, you get the degree, you
Yeah.
get the job, you work your way up, and you'll get taken care of. And you can stop at VP if that's what you want, and you'll still be stable and just keep performing. But then that shifted somewhere in the last, honestly, like 10 to 15 years. That slowly started to shift. AI and technology, that's just like the accelerator right now, right?
Yeah.
People will
Yeah.
have jobs with AI. It's just going to look different.
Yeah.
But, layoffs used to be like a public embarrassment, and now they're just a way that companies calibrate. And, what we came into the workforce as a millennial, what we came into the workforce expecting, is just not where it is today. And so there's this
Yeah.
certain level of instability that actually exists now in tech, in corporate, in these companies, that the goalpost just resets every year, right? And everyone again needs to decide for themselves, like, am I okay with that? Or
Yeah.
do I want to take a little bit more control of my destiny?
Yeah. Okay, so one last question. What's one thing you wish you would have known 5 years ago that would have made you say yes to a franchise earlier?
I've thought about this. I've thought about like what it's like once you do it,
Yeah.
like a lot of people, like once you have kids, it's like you say you wish you had them so much sooner. Um, and I, once I did this, I said to myself, like, I should have done this 10 years ago. And the truth is like, I actually think I did this at the right time
Yeah.
for myself, for my, for everything, because I don't think I would have appreciated being where I am now or had, the wisdom of almost 20 years of professional experience to be able to bring to this business that I would have
Right.
did this 5 or 10 years ago. So really my answer is 5 years ago, I just wish that I had a little bit more confidence in the fact that I am as successful as I want to be. I can solve whatever problems I am willing to solve, and that I just need to bet on myself and bet on my own confidence and not rely on someone else to be able to determine what my success can look like. And I always knew that as like the leader in the organization and within my team. But again, I'm just so risk averse.
Yeah.
But now
But
here I am.
even being risk adverse, which is super important to people listening, you still feel comfortable to be in the franchise world. So there are people that I talk to all the time and they are scared of the risk, but you're proof right here. You are risk adverse and here you are doing it.
I mean, the risk is you could be sitting at 4 a.m. Pacific time waiting for an email, right? To see if you're one of 10%, right? And that's not, again, that's not knocking the company. It's just that's the reality of where we are, right?
Mhm.
So I think that, like they say, choose your heart, choose your risk. What are you willing to risk, right? For me, what I was not willing to do is I was not willing to build a career that formed myself and my time around a company and a company's ambitions. I want to form myself and my time around my family
Yeah.
and my children, right? And how feral and savage they get when they're starving in between all of the things we're doing in all the places. Like that is what it's
It's so true. Feeding children is a full-time
for.
job.
It is, especially when you have two boys. Well, Alina, thank you so much for joining us today. For everyone listening, I hope that you found value in this podcast. I absolutely did. And if you have any questions about CMIT solutions or want to talk to Morgan or myself about franchising, please go to the franchiseinsiders.com and find Morgan or myself to reach out to. So thank you all for listening. See you next week.
Thank you, Elina.
Thanks, ladies.
Thanks, Elise. For those of you listening, if you have any questions or are interested in franchising, please go to thefranchiseinsiders.com. You can find more information about Morgan and myself. And we'll see everyone next week.
Thank you.
Bye.